All right, man. We finna get into the news, man. It's a couple little news things, man. Oh yeah, before I get into that, on one of my sermons, God had to correct me though, because on one of my sermons, I was like, I said that what attracted me to the streets was the love. Now that's true, but there was other places I could have went if I was strictly looking for love. I could have when I was younger, like 15, I could have dived headfirst into the church world because it's love there. It ain't all love. You got haters there too. You got people that's supposed to be Christians, but they don't have the heart of God. They don't have the love of God. You know what I mean? And to me, that's a worse hypocrite than like a Christian that's at the club on Saturday and they at church on Sunday. To me, that's not hypocritical unless a person is trying to make it seem like they don't do that kind of stuff. Like if they trying to make it seem like I would never go to a club, but you in the club Saturday night and then at church Sunday, that's hypocritical. But it's not hypocritical because you was at the club and then at church. It's hypocritical because you made it seem like that's something that you would never do when that's really what you do. That's what make it hypocritical, right? But somebody might think that's hypocritical. Oh, he in the club Saturday and at church Sunday. Okay. But what's even worse than that is when somebody in church and they post to represent Christ, but they don't have his type of heart though. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the love of God in their heart and they looking down on everybody and they judging everybody and they looking at everybody's faults and got their nose in the air like they better than somebody and they don't even have the love of God in their heart. To me, that's more hypocritical than that other stuff. But like I said, I don't care who a hypocrite and who ain't. Cause what that got to do with my relationship with him? That's them. I ain't worried about them. I'm worried about me and him. You know what I mean? But but anyway, yeah, I could have went to the church though if I was looking for love, you know what I mean? Uh but so this is what God showed me. It was the love that attracted me to the streets, but keep it real, it was the it was the excitement, the quest for excitement and adventure. It wasn't just the love, because you see it's love in the streets, but the streets is not the place to go to if you looking for love. But there is a form of love in the streets amongst gangs and gangsters and crews and cliques. There is a love there, and that's part of what drew me to the streets. But what also played a big part in, and I think not just me, but black men and young men, period, and women too. What also draws people to the streets, what plays a big part in attracting people to the streets is the quest for excitement and adventure. Cause a lot of the stuff we was doing, it had to do with just the quest for adventure and excitement. Cause a lot of that dirt you do is really fun. A lot of stuff you do that God wouldn't be pleased with it. It was in the name of fun, excitement, adventure. A lot of times hustling, it's a certain excitement that come with hustling. I remember. Yeah, I remember it's an excitement that come with hustling. It was fun to do robberies, hit licks, breaking people cars, like all that stuff was fun, man. When I was young, going in people's houses, that stuff was fun. Everything had a certain, I guess it's like a dark or evil excitement, but I remember the excitement like it was fun. It's like an adventure. Every day is just like an adventure. When you in an active hood, every day is like an adventure. You know what I mean? That's what really gets you off the porch into them streets, man. The streets, it's a certain adventure, it's a certain thrill, a certain adventure. It's like an adventure. It's a certain thrill, a certain rush, a certain excitement. It's a certain quest for adventure that draws you into it, as well as the love. And then you get into some beef, and it kind of help validate you as a man, as a young man. When you handle some beefs, You know what I mean? It kind of validates you more as a man, especially when you young. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that come with the streets, man. But anyway, I'm gonna get into this news now. So I remember when I was talking about Young Thug and them. Okay, yeah. When I was talking about Young Thug, now let me say some things about Young Thug. Uh, the Young Thug beef with YFN Lucci is way deeper than the female. I would now they beef was I forgot it. I forgot exactly, but somebody died. But I hold up. I will say this though. Now one of them bodies that they click caught, Young Thug click, it had to do with with Rich Homie Quan cutting them off, and manager Rich Homie Quan and his manager both didn't want to work with Young Thug, and Young Thug was still trying to force Rich Homie Quan to work with him. That's why he started calling them the B word Homie Quan. You know what I mean? Rich Homie Quan, but he replaced Rich with the B word Homie Quan. And cause him and Young Thug had a little beef, right? But Rich Homie Quan never responded. But Rich Homie Quan manager was like on the run. He was saying like he felt Young Thug was gonna send somebody at him, and they said his last words. He died, and they said his last words was like Young Thug got me killed. A Rich Homie Quan manager. So it was petty though. But that's Rich Homie Quan though. But the beef with YFN Lucci, I think that tied into it. But and YFN Lucci was one of the people calling Young Thug gay and calling him out. But they beef was deeper than a female. I think it was still over some petty stuff though. I think they beef was still over some petty stuff though. But it was deeper than just a female though. And YFN Lucci brought Young Thug girl or baby mama or whoever she was. YFN Lucci brought her into the beef, but they beef was all it was before the female. It was deeper than the female. But but I still think a lot of stuff that Young Thug did, like hits and stuff that he ordered, was over some petty stuff. You know what I'm saying? Over some petty stuff. But his beef with YFN Lucci was deeper than just a female though. Young Thug really a family man. You know what I'm saying? But he still be on some petty stuff, abuse of power, man. If you gonna call a hit, man, let it be over something real, not over something goofy. Somebody don't want to kick it with you no more. They don't want to do music with you no more. You gonna put a hit out on somebody over that? You know, so people that do stuff like that, that's abuse of power. So you had to be stopped. And now they say that somebody from his clique, or it's one dude that's the biggest snitch, but it's multiple people snitching, talking, giving information. But it's one dude that I guess he like the biggest snitch or whatever, but you know, he the one that's at the forefront of, but you know, it's people snitching, so it's not looking real good for him. But oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say though. Anytime you a rapper and they use your lyrics against you, it take a snitch. Now check this out. I'm gonna give you an example. Cause like a musician, a rapper, like you could be saying some stuff that ain't true. Like you could be like, yeah, man, I went through their hood, I killed 3 of them, da da da. Like you could just be saying that. Like, can't nobody use those lyrics against you just cause you said it in a song. You know what I mean? But this how the snitching thing work. That's like if I be like, yeah, I went through their hood. I shot at them. It was 3 of them I shot, and I hit 2, and 1 got away. So I'm just saying that in a song, right? But it's a snitch that was a snitch like that was in your circle, or it could be a snitch on the other side. But they the ones that prove that those lyrics ain't just lyrics. Be like, yeah, I was with him when we went through that hood that night, and it was 3 of them, and he shot 2 of them and 1 got away. And then you look at the news reports or the police reports, and somebody called the law, and yeah, it was 2 shooting victims that night, And you know what I'm saying, only the people that was there know the story, but it's a like they can actually look at hospital records and police calls and police records, and they can find out like, yeah, on this night in October it was two people that got shot. Now the snitch will be like, yeah, that night is what he was talking about in that song when he said he went through their hood and he shot two of them and one got away. And it's a snitch that'll be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, that ties the lyrics to real life. You know what I'm saying? It had to be a snitch. It could be on either side though. It could be on their side or it could be on your side, and be like, yeah, he came through our hood and it was three of us posted up, or it was three of my homies posted up and one of them got away and two of them got shot. And then, you know, they'll look at all the records, hospital records, police reports, police records, but it had to be a snitch to actually tie what the person wrote in their song to reality. You know what I'm saying? It take a snitch to actually, cause dude could have just been writing that, and then it might have been some people got shot that night, but they don't know that song that you wrote was actually talking about that specific shooting. It take a snitch to actually be like, yeah, this is what happened. This is the night that all this happened, and that song where he said he shot them two people and one got away. This what happened on this night at this place. This is what he was talking about in that song. So it take a snitch for a rapper's lyrics to be used against them. Somebody had to tie it all together. Like when he said that in this song, this is the actual event that he was talking about. Only a snitch can tie those lyrics with the actual event that really happened. Cause the rapper ain't gonna snitch on himself. The rapper gonna be like, man, I was just telling the story, man. But it take a snitch to actually be like, yeah, this is the night that happened. This is where it happened at, and this is what he's and those particular lines in that song was talking about this event. Like somebody had to snitch for your lyrics to be used against you. Or, you know, they got to put two and two together, and it usually be a snitch that help them put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't no snitch, man, I was just telling a story. What you talking about? I just wanted to tell an entertaining story. You know what I mean? But somebody gets a snitching and, well, this is the event he was actually rapping about. This is what he said in the song. This is what actually happened. And then it's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like they get to putting two and two together, but it take a snitch to link it all together. You know what I'm saying? And then they get to looking at it like, yeah, so he, you know, this was a true event that happened, but it take a snitch to help them put it all together. You know what I mean? Okay, now y'all know they say Quando Rondo got shot in West LA last night. Yeah, no. Quando Rondo didn't get shot, but Quando Rondo was there and his homeboy got killed. In LA, in West LA, and they ended up like in West Hollywood. You know what I mean? Say he got shot like say Quando Rondo homeboy, he got shot like around the Beverly Center. So that's West LA. And then they ended up in West Hollywood or something like that. Everybody trying to figure out what it was. I'm gonna tell you what I think though. I don't think it got nothing to do with King Von or Lil Durk. I think it got to do with Hoover and neighborhood. Cause you know Quando Rondo, he claimed rolling 60s, and you know that neighborhood Hoover beef is very real. But I don't think I don't know. Like I don't think that's really it either though. Like I mean I think that's a big part of it, but I think dudes just probably got the drop on them. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, at this point in time, we don't really know. But I think I don't know, cause my opinion, I think it was some Hoover. I think some Hoovers did it, and then see something that people don't know, man. Quando Rondo dissed the hood. Quando Rondo, he from Rolling 60s, right? So he would Quando Rondo would diss in the hood like this. Like in LA, the neighborhood and the Hoovers, like they beef for real. Like it ain't necessary. They don't beef everywhere, but they beef in LA and they beef in a lot of other places. But Quando Rondo not really a part of that. I mean, he is, but you know, you the gang banging, it is what it is wherever you at. So they gang banging in Georgia, and it's real out there too. He got a homeboy that died in Savannah, Georgia recently too. So the gang stuff is real everywhere, but I mean, you don't want all the LA Hoovers on you. Like, but this a while ago though, cause one of the homies from Hoover, Alshon Martin, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat Quando Rondo." Like, he was like, "I'm gonna beat him up when I catch him." You know what I'm saying? And but this was a while ago. But Quando Rondo dissed the hood though. He was doing like this. He took a picture. I don't know I think he was on Crenshaw or something, but yeah, Quando Rondo had dissed the hood though. And it's one thing if you from out there, but I think a lot of people just didn't respect that. Like if he would have been a rolling 60 from LA, then dudes probably wouldn't even tripped on him. Because you're going to have to run your fades in jail and all that. So I think, I don't know, but I think probably some Hoovers or somebody seen him in Hollywood or something, or seen him in West LA and got on him, because it don't look like it was a robbery. Anytime it's with a celebrity, somebody who got money, it's usually going to be a robbery. It's a difference between a lick and a hit, but a lick can turn into a hit, but it don't even look like it was a lick. It don't look like it was no robbery. It just looked like they just got out the car and just went to lighten it up. And I bet you they from Hoover, though. That's my opinion. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think it got nothing to do with Lil Durk. I don't think it got nothing to do with King Von. I don't think it got nothing to do with Lil Durk or nobody putting no money on King Von's head. I guarantee it got something to do with gangbanging. It could be some Bloods. It could be some Bloods too. But I just don't think no Bloods got no smoke with Quando Rondo. Oh, I'm gonna show you something about Young Thug. Young Thug did this too in LA. Yeah. I remember Young Thug caught a little backlash because he had threw up the C and he did the middle finger up under it. And Young Thug got a little backlash. Quando Rondo didn't even get no backlash from nobody but the Hoovers though. I only heard one Hoover say something about it, but I seen the picture where Quando Rondo, where he dissed Hoover though on some neighborhood Hoover beef, which he really ain't even a part of. But if you gonna do that, you gotta remember that. If you gonna diss somebody hood, you gotta be on your game. Anytime you in LA, you done dissed all the Hoovers around the world, but you did it in LA. So when you in LA, you ought to be that much more careful. Or he might be thinking about Lil Durk and them and forgot about the gang stuff. It could have been some Bloods too. But I'm willing to bet it was some Hoovers though. And they weren't trying to rob him. They just trying to smoke him. And I don't know if they had guns or if they shot back or any of that, but I bet you it was some Hoovers though. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not the police. I'm not trying to point no fingers on no police stuff. But my opinion, I bet it was gang related and I bet it was some Hoovers. That's just what I think. But yeah, Quando Rondo didn't get shot. It was his homeboy, but his homeboy got killed though. You know what I mean? It's tough, man. One thing I'm gonna say, it really started with Chicago, talking about dissing the dead. But I think when you diss the dead, cause Quando Rondo was dissing King Von and all that, and if I was Quando Rondo and I was in the same shit, now Lil Tim is not the one that got killed. It's another one of his homeboys. But Lil Tim did what he was supposed to do. Cause King Von got a song out that just came out, a video with OMB Peasy. And King Von said, "Ain't no one-on-ones. We finna jump you." So it's a proper conclusion to think that when King Von started swinging on Quando Rondo probably would have got jumped. That's a probable suspicion. Uh, that's an educated guess. Quando Rondo probably would have got jumped. So his homeboy, he did what he supposed to do. Lil Tim did what he was supposed to do, man. Now, if I was Quando Rondo, I would have spoke on it. I would have rapped about it. But I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would have. I would have been more like Gucci Mane. Like Gucci Mane speak on who was it? Pookie Loc, young Jeezy homeboy that tried to rob him and he killed him. Like Gucci speak on it, but he don't go to the extreme when it come to dissing the dead though. Quando Rondo got on the same time as all them other Chicago dudes really dissing the dead, but this is how I feel about dissing the dead though. Say you walking down the street, right? And you trip and fall. Okay? You trip and fall, right? You can diss dude for tripping and falling, right? You tripped and fell. You a goofy. You tripped and fell. But the truth of the matter is, you could be walking one day and you could trip and fall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you dissing dude, but it's not impossible for you to trip and fall. You dissing him for tripping and falling, but you human too. You could trip and fall. So that's how I feel about dissing the dead. Like, I just be trying to learn what I can learn, because when somebody dead, you can't bring them back. But what you can do is learn what you can learn from that situation. I don't really believe in dissing the dead, because you dissing dude for getting killed, but you could get killed. So, like, why would I go to the extreme dissing a dude that died or dissing your dead homie when one of my homies could get killed? I'm not finna be dissing your dead homie. I might speak on it, but I ain't finna take it to the extreme, because at the end of the day, I can diss your dead homie, but my homie could end up dead. I could diss another dude for getting killed, but then I could get killed. I'm not immune. I'm not invincible. It's like you putting yourself, it's like you making yourself above human, like you making yourself superhuman. Cause why would you diss somebody when the same thing could happen to you? The same thing could happen to your homeboy. So, like, why would you diss the dead as if it couldn't happen to you? Like, it's the pride of life. You making yourself superhuman. You caught up in the pride of life, not knowing that your life could get snatched. You know what I mean? But then again, I mean, I kind of understand when somebody start dissing yours, you gonna diss theirs. And once you get into that back and forth, is cause Lil Durk said something like, "Oh, your homie down." Like, but they was dissing Durk, saying, you know, your homie got smoked. Now it come right back around, and Durk saying statements about Quando Rondo, like, your homie down, pick him up. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, you know. But it's kind of, I mean, I understand when somebody's shooting slugs at you, you're going to want to shoot back. But I don't know if I could really get caught up in that, because I'm human, bro. I trust in God. I try to move right. But at the end of the day, I can't diss the dead. I can't diss nobody for getting shot. I could get shot. I can't diss nobody for dying. I could die. I can't diss nobody because they homeboy died. My homeboy could die. You know what I mean? Like, why would you diss somebody for something when the same thing could happen to you? But people don't look at it like that. They don't feel like it could happen to them. It's the pride of life. You get to thinking your life is guaranteed. And it ain't. I believe it was gang business. And I believe it were the Hoovers, man. That Hoover and that neighborhood beef is very serious. It's more realer than the Crip and Blood beef. The Crip and Blood beef is is probably at an all-time low. Cause like Crips from Compton ain't finna beef with Bloods from the west side of LA or Bloods from Inglewood. The Crip and the Blood beef is only the ones that's around your hood. The Bloods only beef with the Crips that's around they hood, and the Crips only beef with the Bloods that's around they hood. Like Bloods from one side of LA ain't beefing with Crips from the other side of LA. You know what I'm saying? It's all the neighboring gangs that beef with each other. You know what I mean? The Hoovers cool with the Bloods in Watts and with the Bloods in Compton. They just not cool with the Denver Lanes. The Hoovers cool with the Bloods in Inglewood. And the Hoover and the neighborhood beef, or the Hoovers and the gangsters versus the neighborhood versus neighborhoods, that's what made all these a lot of alliances. Because you got the Sue Whooping, Moving, and Grooving. You got Bloods from Inglewood that's cool with the A-Tray gangsters and cool with the Hoovers because they all beef with neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They all beef with the 60s and they all beef with neighborhood. So it can get kind of intricate. It can get kind of, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Hoover and the neighborhood beef is more real than the Crip and the Blood beef. And that's LA, and it's a lot of other places too. Texas is not so much beefing with the Hoovers in the neighborhoods. It's not so stiff in Texas. But it can, you know, some people be on that though. Some people be on that, but everybody ain't on that in Texas. But in LA, man, that Hoover and that neighborhood stuff is realer than the Crip and Blood beef. Realer than the Crip and Blood rivalry. And then sometimes if he would have been a rolling 60 from LA, dudes might have not even tripped because they have a certain respect for each other. But if they don't respect your gangster and they feel like you a goofy and you from out of town and they just don't respect his gangster like that, and they feel a type of way because he dissed the hood in LA. He didn't do it in Georgia. He wanted to come to LA and say he stamped in the land and throw up Hoover with the middle finger up under it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, dudes might have just, you know what I'm saying, had the opportunity and just try to smoke them. I don't know. It might not be Hoovers. I can't say for sure. I'm just saying what I think. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I bet it was probably some Hoovers though. And they didn't respect his gangster like that. And once they got the chance to get at him, they tried to get at him. That's what I think. I could be wrong. That ain't nothing but opinion. I'm not saying that God said, God showed me. Nah, I ain't saying none of that. That's just my opinion. You did? But I remember when Quando Rondo dissed the set. I remember when he did that, man. And it was only one dude from Hoover. He was like, yeah, man, I'm going to beat Quando Rondo. That was Al's son Martin, man. He said he was gonna smash on Quando Rondo. This years ago. Yeah, this had to be like 2019 or probably before that. It was around the same time when 6ix9ine was when everybody was hot. Before 6ix9ine officially snitched and ratted and all that. It was around that time. I want to say like 2019. I remember that though. And you never know though. Sometimes, man, if people don't respect your gangster, and Quando Rondo really came up hard though. Like Quando Rondo, like he kind of had a tough life. You know what I mean? Straight up. But sometimes for whatever reason, it could just be because you from out of town. Dude might not respect your gangster like that. And they feel like you like butting into their politics. You know what I mean? And got the nerve to try to diss a hood and you not even from there. And, you know, and then somebody else was saying he should have tapped in. Like, I guess with the LA 60s. You know what I mean? But yeah, dudes seen him and dudes got on his head. But I bet you it was gang related. And I'm willing to bet that it wasn't no Bloods. I'm willing to bet they were Hoovers. That's just my guess. I could be wrong, but that Hoover neighborhood stuff is real. And if you ain't in it, you ought not put yourself in it, especially on LA time. You know what I'm saying? You really want peace when you go out of town. You did. And then you go out of town, you got to be on your guard more than in your own town because you done kicked up some dust. And then, when you're a celebrity, you a target for robberies and all that anyway. Quando Rondo got a lot going on, though, man. But I bet you it was gang related. And I'm going to give it to the Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? From what I know, you know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts. I ain't trying to dry snitch, and then that's all I can give you is just my opinion. I ain't got no evidence, none of that. That's just my opinion, though. And then another dude, I don't know if dude Hispanic, he Mexican. I don't know if he from Northern Cali or Southern Cali, but dude got a prison YouTube channel, and dude got smoked inside a tattoo shop. But dude was what they call a dropout. And that means when you in prison, you drop out of your gang. And the main reason somebody gonna do that is if you a snitch or something and they found out about you, or you was on the main line, you was in general population and some dirt then came out on you. So you gotta leave the main line and go to the special needs yard, like with the pedophiles and rapists and all that, right? So, but at the same time, if you part of a gang and your gang tell you to do something and you don't want to do it, then they gonna kill you. You know what I mean? In prison. So it's different reasons people drop out of the gang, or you might, but I know Christians that got saved, but they still stayed on the main line though. They didn't, it's people that turn Muslim, it's people that turn Christian, but they stayed on the main line because when you drop out, that's like a dishonor. You basically put yourself in the same category with the snitches, pedophiles, rapists, you know what I mean? So it's looked down on to be a dropout. You know what I'm saying? You went to a different yard with the pedophiles and all that. So that's like the worst thing you can do. It's not respected. Even if you're a Christian and you want to talk to other gang members, like they not gonna respect you if you a dropout though. It's like, now you can't even talk to me. You heck nah. You ain't nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like that's like not a good thing, you know what I mean, to be a dropout. But I don't know why dude dropped out, but okay, so now you got real dudes that was, they was once gang members and they dropped out of their gang for whatever reason. And now they on the same yard with the pedophiles, right? So it's like, so they started their own gang. Like, it's like, yeah, we in here with the pedophiles and the rapists, but we not on their level. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we not on their level, but, we not general population no more, but we not as bad as they are. So it's like they started their own gang. It's called Two Fivers. So like, I guess they do some kind of regulating or something. I don't know what they do, but he was part of that gang. He, whatever gang he was from at first, he dropped out. So, you left, you quit, you debriefed, you gave information, and they gave you a spot in the special needs yard where you ain't got to worry about other people doing nothing to you. But you still not a pedophile or a rapist, but we gonna put you with them for your protection. It's basically PC. You know what I mean? So, but then they started their own gang where I guess they still ride on pedophiles and stuff. They still do stuff to them when they catch them, or I don't know nothing about their politics, but basically they in there with the pedophiles, but they not as bad as the pedophiles. So they started their own gang, and I think they still punish pedophiles and rapists and the other people, you did, but they don't punish no snitches. You know what I mean? But something like that. And then I think dude had dissed the Mexican mafia, and he probably done dissed the Norteños, or maybe the Sereños, or the 13 or 14, like, You know what I mean? He probably done ran his mouth and you know, he seemed like a stand-up dude. Like he don't seem like no punk or no scary dude or nothing, but you know, them organizations is very serious, man. You know, the Mexicans is very organized, the Norteños and the Serranos, the Nortes, you know what I'm saying, and the Serranos, you know, they very organized, and that stuff is inside the prison and it's on the streets. So he probably said something, made the wrong people mad, or people probably been mad at him for a long time, and somebody got their chance and, you know what I mean, killed dude in public. But his name was Savage Studios. I just found out about that like within the past few hours. But it's real in the field, man. Be careful how you move, man, and all that there, man. That's the words that God gave me, man. So everybody be blessed this Saturday evening. What is it? August the 20th. It's Saturday evening, man. Everybody be blessed. Uh God, we ask you to be with us. Help us to be with you. You know, time is winding up. It's getting late in the day. You know what I'm saying? Make your choice, pick your side, and stand on business, man. Jesus.